Welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm Kevin Deveci, your host. I'm welcoming you today, episode 75. And last week we started season 3. We are excited for season 3 and many more seasons and episodes to come. Today's number is 4.3. The unemployment rate in US is 4.3% in August. Today we have a special guest. We have the CEO and Director of iTech Consulting with us, Sami Afzal. And we're going to have a great conversation today about ERP software industry, AI, technology, and other popular business subjects. Let me invite Sami Afzal to our virtual stage and let's get the conversation started. Hello, Sami. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, it's my pleasure. Thank you very much. I hope you are having a nice week so far.
Yeah, it's Friday, so a busy week, but now things are winding down. So looking forward to the weekend and recharge before we hit the ground running again on Monday.
Yes. Friday is a fun day, and happy Friday. That's great. Well, good. If that's okay, we can get our conversation started. And before our conversation start, also I'd like to thank you for your support for the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business, for your
It's a pleasure.
support. Yes, for your support, for your presence today, and for your sponsorship. We truly appreciate um, your support for the American Business Podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you to you as well.
I appreciate it. Well, let's get the conversation started if that's okay. As a start, would you please introduce yourself and iTech Consulting briefly to our
Yes,
audience and to our listeners?
yes. So I've been working in the tech space, especially IT services, for the last 20 years. I started my career in the US market and then worked in Canada, Europe, and Asia as well. So mostly focused on ERP technology, and within ERP, I started with SAP. Uh, so very large cap companies, Fortune 1000. That's the start of my career. But since then, I established iTech, which is an IT services company, about 12 years ago in Canada. And then we started very small, and then we kept growing. And eventually, we figured out that the way the industry was moving, it valued cost, it valued faster delivery time. So from that mandate, we set up a offshore delivery center in Bangladesh. So for those who don't know where it is, it's right next to India. So same, pretty much same latitude and longitude. If you fly 30 minutes, we'll be in India. So that's how close it is. And the capital is Dhaka, so that's where we are based out of. We have about 70 offshore delivery team there. And we also since then have diversified our portfolio to other applications and technologies as well. So as I said, SAP is our flagship. And over the years, we started with ECC, then moved to S/4HANA. Now, then there was Rise, and then there was Grow, which is the public cloud. SAP is changing, shaking things up again. Now they have Business Suite and AI capabilities. So we're heavily invested in new learning, new training, and our team is developing in that segment. At the same time, we are pivoting to focus more on mid-market because we see that the ERP space in the mid-market has a bigger opportunity, especially with the cloud offerings. So previously what happened was with complex ERPs, there was heavy investment in data centers and so on. But with cloud, it's plug and play largely. So we also diversified into NetSuite, which is the leading mid-market ERP. We do Microsoft Dynamics. At the same time, during the cloud migration that we did for many customers, we acquired skill set in Azure and AWS. And then we have a small cybersecurity practice focusing on identity access management and privilege access management. And the products we work with are CyberArk, SafePoint, and Savient. So that's very briefly about iTech and where we are at this point.
Thank you very much. Let's talk about you a little bit, if that's okay. How did your
Yeah, of course.
career started? How did it unfold? Were there any unexpected turns in your career journey?
Uh, yeah, so as I said, I grew up in Bangladesh. That's the connection with Bangladesh. And then for college, I came to Arizona. And obviously, as a kid, you have no idea of what USA is like. You just have an idea from the movies, right? And it's all
Yes.
like you mostly see New York or LA. And Arizona, I'm like, okay, it must be similar to the Western movies. And then you get to Arizona, and it's like I always thought of America as a cold country, but it was 120 degrees in Phoenix, and it was like a blow dryer hitting my face, right? So that was the initial shock, and then there was the cultural assimilation as well. But in America, the colleges are the best times, and anybody who has gone to an American college will agree, right? It's learning, but it's a lot of fun too. I enjoyed that a lot, and then I went to grad school in Texas A&M, which is another big public university. I studied finance and information systems, and then got recruited directly out of university with Deloitte Consulting, and I was based in Houston. So a lot of oil and gas projects. I traveled a lot, did some public sector implementation. So started off in the SAP finance space because of my both finance and information system background. And then I decided I'm a person who gets bored easily. So I'm like, okay, I worked in like at least 10 states in the US, covered 30, visited 30 states, and pretty much seen all of America. Well, maybe not America, but most of America. So I figured like I'll explore Canada. And that's when I moved to Canada. And that's where I met my wife and set up my family. So I'm based in Toronto now. And as career progressed, I uh, gradually moved up the, let's say, the corporate hierarchy. And then once I became a manager, I thought that I would venture out myself and do something on my own. And that's when I came up with the idea of starting IT services business for preliminary focused on SAP. And as you network and as you know people, obviously other people like various demands come from various networks or connections. So we try to roll with the times and wherever the wind on our sail takes us, so to speak, right? And so after 10, 12 years of iTech, we're still a small company, but we are looking to expand at least 10 times in the next 7, 8 years. Anybody who started a company knows that when you started, you don't know if you will last till the end of the year, right? So it's the same thing. When I lasted the first year, I'm like, okay, let's focus on the next 2 years, right? And getting a core, I think the critical mass I would say is roughly 40 people. So when you have 40 people in your company, that is when I think you have formulated the base, right? So we have done that, and that's what. So the next stage is actually like uh, significant growth, right? A company, one approach is to look at your company and be happy with what you have, right? 40 people company is great, right? Less headache. You're focused on specific work, and you have that family life balance as well. The other way to look at it is okay, let's get a team together and let's work as a team to grow the company faster. And that's a very different mindset than a single person or entrepreneur moving a company ahead, right? So we're trying to focus on that. We're looking for great people to team up with, great companies to partner with, and hopefully these collaborations that we're trying to make will catapult us to a different level as an organization.
When you look at your work on daily basis, what are the challenging and exciting parts of your work on every day?
So now, as the top person of the organization, the challenge is what do you delegate and what do you not delegate, and the buck stops with you, right? So there are, since we're still a smaller company, I interact with all the clients. So we have about 20, 25 clients, and I need to know the owner of the company. If it's a mid-sized company, when it's obviously is a publicly listed company, I at least have to know the CIO, the controller, the CFO. But for a small company, I also have to know the owner as well. So everybody has certain expectations of you, and whenever something escalates, I get a call, right? And uh, in most cases, we have set up a good track record and build that trust. So we have been able to manage it well, but it's those point of contacts, and everybody expects FaceTime, and rightly so, right? If you're working with another company who's providing IT services, they deserve FaceTime, right? So what my challenge is, going back to your question, is finding out what to delegate. So we are sort of re-strategizing that as we try to become a bigger company, what leadership roles we need to hire and what parts should we delegate. um, for a smaller company, oftentimes a lot of things are not procedural. For example, we always thought about SOP and writing it and communicating it, but we have a draft, but it's not properly assimilated across the organization. Same thing with specific back office functions like accounting, IT, HR. Those are also things that sort of seep into my time, but these are low value added. But somebody has to do it, right? And decisions have to be made. So those are the challenges. I would say growing pains to from when you have like a 70, 80 people company to grow, you have to formalize, right? Unless you formalize those structures, it will become unmanageable. So at this point in the last, let's say, 6 months, that has been my biggest challenge, to figure out how to structure things, what to delegate, and hiring for leadership roles in terms of sales and delivery.
How do you see the state of ERP software industry nowadays? And what are the changes as well as challenges that you see in the ERP software field?
So ERP, I always found the name quite funny in that the software is some a person who doesn't have background in IT will
Mhm.
not understand what it means, right?
Mhm.
Enterprise resource planning, a vague term to
Yeah.
a random
Let's
person, right?
explain to our audience if that's okay for those who don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah. Please. Thank you.
exactly. Because it has a very long history, right? So if you go back to when, like 120 years ago, right, when industrialization was still in the world, like being developed, right? We all know about the Ford assembly line, right? So what that did was it increased efficiency in terms of throughput, right? So they said the very basic is that if we can reorganize work and focus on that one person does only one or two or three things instead of uh, one person making the entire car, that's much faster. That's an order of magnitude of efficiency increase. So that's how it went along. But then in the 1950s, I would say, companies kept becoming bigger and bigger and bigger, right? At that point, it's not just one factory that has maybe 5,000 people. It's like 10 factories, each of them having maybe 10,000 people. That was the scale of it. And you can imagine how it became impossible. There was so to manage things verbally or even with paper, right? And it coincided with the computer system. So at that time, they figured like, okay, enterprise is just a company, and then we have a lot of resources. We know there are a lot of resources are being wasted, either in terms of time, material, or just doing the same thing, multiple people doing the same thing. So that's where the term came over, enterprise resource planning, as a concept that if we do it better, manage the resources of the enterprise or the organization or the company better, it will lead to efficiencies and higher profitability. And when computer applications came, it just stuck that it's ERP means basically we're going to focus on maximizing our the efficiency of our resources. But then when computers develop, the software programs are good in the sense that if you build a building, you cannot change it. You might sort of demolish a few walls or add floors, but you can't really change the complete structure or the functionality of that building. But with software, you can do anything you want, and it's just a copy paste and enhancement function. So ERP as a concept, as a software, started as a smaller thing, where okay, the factory production is the focus, right? And then it everybody sort of figured out that okay, we can extend this, and then it extended to materials management or supply chain, then finance, then sales, then HR, and 10 other things, right? And that's how it grew. And but the name stuck with ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning. If we could name it, rename it, we probably would come up with a better name. And since then, SAP started in the, I would say in the 70s, late 70s, and they're the one uh, company that actually successfully brought everything in a packaged software form, where before that everything was custom built. And SAP said, okay, we'll have a package, and for manufacturing companies, we will just do basically size up your company and then install the software. So 80% of the software will work as is, and maybe 20% we will customize. And that model gave a huge advantage to other companies, because if you think of AI, everybody knows AI is well good, but nobody knows what are the exact use cases, right? So ERP was in the same boat at that time. Nobody figured out what was the best way to do it, and packaging it was the SAP's brilliant idea. Although now it seems like common sense, but at that time it was a huge shift. And interestingly, these were all IBM employees, IBM engineers who came up with this idea, because they were building custom software for manufacturing companies to build ERP systems. And they went to their bosses saying that, okay, I think we should package it. It's a great idea. I think it'll be a very big business. And IBM basically didn't go with the idea, right? They didn't run with the idea, and obviously they missed out. So history says that the biggest idea they missed out is on the PC, right? Although when they were so focused on their server business, they missed the PC um, growth. Although later they came and tried to come up like catch up. It's the same thing with ERP or packaged industry softwares. So they missed the boat on that, and obviously SAP was born. And once it became more popular, it was still based in Germany and Europe. At the same time, in the US, there were also these mainframe ERP systems, which weren't really, those were very effective, but obviously in the late 80s, the client server architecture came. And when that was brought in, it was like the democratization of the process. So obviously, if you look at technology, what happens is that the acceleration keeps accelerating. If that makes sense. So, for example, if ERP software took 20 years to mature, internet took 10 years to mature. And Gen AI, if you look at it, it took 5 6 years to mature, right? For the first time, when we realized that, okay, you can ask a computer to write an essay for you, write a poem for you, right? It was at the research level. And then for people to adopt it, it was very fast, right? I forgot the count of how many people use ChatGPT today, but I think it's over 70 million people. That is an astronomical number, right? And that happened very fast. So what I was trying to get at is that when the client server architecture came in, that is when ERP became for the masses, because any laptop could connect to a ERP system on the back end, right? And that's where American companies also tried to make huge investments. Oracle invested, in a product, but they were mostly in buyout modes where they procured JD Edwards. They had their Oracle database and applications to it. Similarly, Microsoft ended up buying 4 different ERP companies. Since then, everybody's trying to rationalize their portfolio. Microsoft ERP now has 2 flavors, one for mid-market, one for small companies, and one for mid-market. They still sort of play in the large cap market, but it's rare for a 10 billion company to run Microsoft's ERP. But for in that space, mainly Oracle and SAP has come along and done well. So now the next phase, and I'm cutting it short. I know we don't have a lot of time.
It's okay.
I'm the person who would talk about like for 3 hours on this topic, which may or may not be interesting to a lot of
Thank you
people.
for the insights. Yes.
So I'm going to cut it short. So now it's all about AI, right? Honestly, everybody's scrambling. Nobody knows what's going to happen. So think of the internet in '92. Everybody thinks like, oh, it's gonna change everything, right? But nobody knows what it's going to change. And if you look at the history, the dot-com hype started in the 95, 96. That's where the big companies, internet companies started coming up, right? AOL, Amazon, and so on. And then a lot of the company has such big ideas that the internet technology couldn't cope up with, and a lot of them went bust. But in 2010, the same ideas came up, right? Right. Everybody knew that video streaming would be the way to go, but Netflix actually made it happen, right? So it will be the same thing in the AI industry. A lot of companies will perish. We don't know which one, and a lot of companies will succeed. A lot of new companies will come up. So we have the established ERP systems. That's well and good. But if you ask Google and Facebook, they're like, oh, we are beyond Gen AI. We are looking for super intelligence. And what basically that means is a computer that's smarter than a person, right? So currently, Gen AI is basically regurgitating a lot of that, and they're trying to just aiming for general intelligence, which is like, okay, if something is wrong, the computer itself will be able to correct it. I'm sure everybody has this experience where they asked ChatGPT a simple question and gave the wrong answer, right? So it's not true intelligence, although it looks very smart and it can do a lot of things. It definitely has some intelligence, but it still cannot say all the time or most of the time when it makes up an error, and it cannot rationalize and say that, okay, well, I made an error and this is how I fix it. So when super intelligence comes, theoretically, you can just say that write me a ERP software that will do these things, right? And maybe that software will be better than SAP, better than Oracle, right? If that happens, all these companies are under existential threat, right? If Google suddenly comes up with an ERP system that's better than mine, I have 10,000 programmers developing this software, and they have this super intelligent computer developing this. So a lot of uncertainty. I'm not saying it's going to happen. What I'm saying is it's a lot of uncertainty, and all these ERP companies, ERP software has to react. So the industry adoption is usually a little slower than research, but as I said, the pace of innovation is accelerating, right? And the pace of adoptions are also accelerating. So in the next 1 year, all the ERPs will come with AI built in, right? And it wouldn't be a question that a customer is asked or a company is asked, do you want AI, right? It will be built in as simple as like you have the financial ledger, right? Um, Also, the coding space. So in all ERP projects, we do a lot of coding, customization. That part largely will be built, will be empowered with AI developers as well. So developers won't go away, but a lot of the basic codes, you can just do some prompts and say that I want to write a program like this, and largely 70% of the program will be written for you. So this is a good thing in terms of programmer productivity will increase a lot. Before, it might taken 40 hours to develop a small program. It can be done in like 5-6 hours, like a day's work, right? So those are other changes that will come up from a productivity perspective. Uh, The biggest change, I would say, is from the customer adoption point of view, right? So now, if we do get an ERP at that level, what are our accounting folks? What will our accounting folks do? What will our supply chain folks do, right? And to find the right balance, we cannot give everything up to the computers, right? Or that's a non-starter. But not adopting AI technology is also a non-starter. So we have to find a balance, and only time will tell what will happen, right? But again, a long story and long history. To your point, that it's I remember Satya Nadella when he took over Microsoft. He said we are cloud first and mobile first, right? And now everybody is like we are AI first, right? And that's what's going to happen.
Do you think we should regulate AI, and how?
Definitely, yes. So because um, there is a segment in like technology leadership who runs the big companies, are people who are at the forefront of technology, who are not. I am hesitant to say not normal people, but they are definitely not mainstream, right? For us, most largely human beings, we're like robots as a concepts are good, AI as a concept are good, but we wouldn't ourselves want to be robots, right? But there is a segment who like, okay, just take my brain and make everything a robot, and that is their ideal situations. To them, human body is flawed, right? We age, we get sick, and if you look at some sci-fi movies, they have explored this concept, right? So humanity doesn't want as so humanity as a whole, like the large part of humanity, obviously doesn't want to go in that track. But if you do not regulate it, a certain part of this will go in that direction. The more morality of that is something we have to figure out as a let's say as a race, as a humanity, as a race. But there are other things too, like warfare, right? And also, like everybody's watched Terminator, right? That is
Yes.
where the singularity happens when like computers gain consciousness, and once they gain consciousness, they will see is humans are extremely destructive. They are destroying the planet and so on. So the natural conclusion would be eradicate humans, right? That's not far fetched to think. So obviously it has to be regulated, and the existence of the human race is dependent on that. And how we regulate that is something we need to figure out, right? You can compare it with the invention of nuclear bombs, right? When that happened, um, everybody thought, okay, this is annihilation, right? A bomb that is so powerful is going to eradicate the human race. And we struggled, right? 50s, 60s, 70s, in terms of we were constantly under threat of nuclear attack, right? But now we sort of came to an understanding or consensus, right? That I think over 50 countries have the technology in-house to develop a nuclear weapon, but they're not developing it, right? And that's because there's a common agreement that there's a better way to manage conflicts, right? So we have to come up through that. We will make mistakes. I pray, I hope nothing at the level of a nuclear attack plays out, right? Like it happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? But these are very serious things, right? And we cannot take it lightly.
Based on your experience and observation, what are the best marketing channels that you get the quickest ROI?
For it depends obviously in the industry, right? In I can only speak to my industry.
Okay.
In my industry, it's all about, and you're one of the best I've seen at it, is just networking. Um, I studied the history of all the large tech companies. I'm a reader, so and like mostly nonfiction. So how Deloitte came about being a giant, how Accenture came up being a giant. What is the history of the Indian tech giants? Right, started with Infosys, but then there was TCS and so on. And obviously, timing is the most important thing. And there is very few people who can actually see things correctly and feel that, okay, this is right, or this is the right call, right? Um, so it's a mix of everything, but I will say for a smaller IT services company, it's leveraging your network first. So by the time you're 30, you probably have a network, right? If you leverage that, that gives you the most uh, productivity or best outcome. Um, so what does that mean? Networking, right? And I know there different. Like I went to MBA school, they approach it very seriously in terms of how we should network, and then there are a lot of content, both books and I guess YouTube videos on how to network. But it's very difficult skill to network at a large scale and still come out as conveying that you are genuine and you truly care about the other person's benefit, right? So, for example, if I just go to a company that is using SAP, they might be have a SAP vendor who they're happy with or may not be happy with, right? So, if they say they're happy with their current SAP vendor, do I try to replace it? No, we just say that okay, there are a lot of things going on. Maybe the AI side is something we want to venture out. We can maybe do a POC, right? Whereas in other cases there would be like, okay, I don't even use SAP. We don't want to use SAP. But does that mean you don't spend time to learn about their operations more? Yes, you do. So time you have to spend enormous of times having those human interactions. Maybe once robots take over, it won't be as important. But as long as humans are in the driving seat, you have to meet as many as people possible. And honestly, I've learned a lot from you on how to do that, and that is the key in my industry. Um, so that is the I would say golden rule.
Have you had any role models, any mentors who help you shape your career journey?
Uh, Role models, I wouldn't say like um, it was more like an environment that I grew up in rather than a specific role model. So I went to a boarding school, and the culture there, everybody were high achiever, and even the teachers all would always say, "You have to go and make a difference, and it has to be significant, right?" And that actually shaped what you want. So oftentimes it's in your formative years, uh, it's how you are, how your worldview formulates. That is important. If you grow up in an environment where you said, "Oh, the best thing you could do is go get a job that pays you six figures or seven figures," right? That's one way of looking at it. But the other way is to like go out in the world. Do not be limited by what society tells you. Try to shoot for the stars. You may fall and break a couple of bones, but get back on your feet and move forward. So the environment I grew up in was very much like that. Uh, don't just chase money. Do something that you really like, and the money will come. And even if the money doesn't come, being rich is not the most important thing. You have to balance things, right? Family is important. Your mental health is important, right? And honestly, like the ways we have built our society, anybody who's hardworking and intelligent, uh, uh, financially he will be okay. Let's say that, right? It's after you're financially okay, what do you want to do, right? We all know the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? And everybody, although the pyramid is very intuitive and makes sense, at an individual level, people interpret it or understand it in a different way. So my understanding is like that, right? Self-actualization means different things to different people. So to me, it means to do what you like, what you're passionate about, help other people grow. In my career, as you said, there wasn't one role model, but there are a lot of people who helped me, right? And I sometimes got amazed that why is this person helping me? He doesn't have any skin in the game. I just asked for something and he went overboard, right? And did a lot of things that are just out of the generosity of his heart, right? So that is a learning that everybody should take. Most people do have figures or instances where they experience these types of generosity, right? So those I've been blessed in terms of those, and obviously my family has been very supportive throughout. So I've been lucky, I guess.
That's great. If there is one key career lesson that you learned the hard way, what would it be that you can share with our audience and with our listeners?
Uh, I would say like never. Again, I'm saying that in the context of my industry, never mislead the customer. If they find out that you've misled them, you've lost that customer forever. And uh, you may be able to recover from that, but it's just a risk that you do not want to take. For example, if we do SAP, let's say, and if we know that okay, based on the company's budget and when the companies are doing another computer software would be sufficient, right? You should have that integrity to say that okay, uh, we will not be the best solution. You continue with this other solution, but at some point there are other services we provide that might help you instead of leading the customer in the wrong path, right? Because uh, we're specialists. We cannot expect the customer to be specialist, and that is the most important thing. I would say that do not mislead your customers. You can give them all options, and then let the customer decide. You do not decide for them, right? That's an important learning that I have.
Is there a book or a show or a movie that help shape your perspective and your career?
Uh, I wouldn't say that any particular book, movie, or show, but from a book perspective, um, what it helped me, a lot of the books, I wouldn't say not one book, is to gain perspective. That is important, right? When you're, let's say, you're in your 20s, right, of university, you don't have a lot of life experience, right? So if you read books of people who have made the journey of life, right? So those help you. Again, I'm not saying any one particular one because uh, I read random things, and a lot of the titles will not probably be are even famous or so on. And the good thing that happened was like now we have podcasts too, which is also like this, right? Reading books, you actually have to allocate a lot of time, and honestly, that's something I've been missing out in the last few years. Reading books, literally like having a book and reading it. But it mainly moved to audiobooks and podcasts. So those I find very interesting, and documentaries. Movies are good in terms of like for entertainment, but documentaries, very few good ones are produced each year. But there are that make you think in terms of what's going on. Uh, so in general, my career is not really molded by any particular one book or movie. It's just uh, but it is helps me derive the guiding principle in terms of how I should, which direction I took in terms of uh, uh, growth, personal growth, and career growth.
If you have a chance to go back history, personally or historically, uh, what timeline, what time period would you like to go back and why?
I actually thought about it a lot, and the answer is I would never. I wouldn't want to go back. I would go. I would want to go back. Go in the future, right? Because I feel that the era that I've been born and grew up is the most interesting one. And there are a lot of new things to come, good or bad, and I'm excited to experience those. But future obviously for me personally, has a lot of um, let's say allure in terms of, okay, where exactly is going to AI end up? Are we going to destroy ourselves, or is going to be a massive improvement for everybody? Right? That's a big question.
It's a big question,
We need
absolutely.
to, yeah.
And speaking of movies and shows, you mentioned Terminator, right? That's one example of AI going rogue and
Hmm.
things are going downhill.
Hmm.
There is another one called Elysium. So I don't know if you watched that. Yeah,
Okay.
that's Matt Damon's movie. It's also
I heard the name, but
yes.
I didn't
So
watch it. I'll watch it now
yeah,
that you
that's
mention
also
it.
like
Yeah.
feature uh, looking movie. So just things
Mhm.
change now. The
Right.
rich ones, they go to another planet. It looks like a moon to me. I can't remember exactly in the movie, but just they live in
Okay.
moon. Let's just say
Hmm.
the rich they have their own
Okay.
environment, and they never
Mhm.
die. They keep fixing themselves unless something happens. Which something
Okay.
happened, they couldn't save
Right.
somebody because they have a machine to replace your injury and parts. So nothing happens to
Hmm.
you physically, and then those poor ones, for some reason, they just got poor. So always the society divided
Hmm.
into half, like extremely rich and
Yeah.
extremely poor. There is no middle. And then there is
Right.
the AI as part of it, technology as part of it, robust part of it,
Right.
and like all these
Yep.
things. I don't know how they come up with these all these scenario. That's another conversation. But then it makes you
Yeah.
think.
But that yeah, yeah, exactly. And that is what initially, that's a thing that might happen, right? Before, it was like the white collar jobs were secure, and that's basically the middle of society, right? Middle, upper middle class, right? Now, it might it will definitely get reduced. So what will happen, right? So people will, very few will be move up, but most of possibly will move down, or it could be something else, right? Maybe it will um create jobs in other sectors. But at least in my mind, I talk to many people, and nobody can definitely say that yes, it will create jobs for Nvidia, and then maybe prompt engineering and so on. But the process of creative destruction, right? That has been the history, right? That the destruction was outweighed by the creation of jobs or opportunities. But with Gen AI and AI in general, mm, at least am not seeing it at the moment. So let's see. Yeah, and nobody can tell me like how. They can say maybe, but I'm not seeing how.
What are your biggest passions and interests outside of work?
Outside work, obviously, family takes up a lot of time. I have kids, so I tell everybody that my high point of the day is when I interact with my kids, right? So that's anybody who has kids, I can relate to that. Other than that, I love traveling. So there are too many countries to go and not enough time. But every year, I at least try to go to one or two new countries that I haven't been before, and the cultural experience I find is very uh, 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 helps me understand our communities better. And obviously, the food is amazing. I like eating out, and the flavors of different countries are very nice. And the scenery as well. And, uh, America is very beautiful. Canada is also very beautiful, but it's a different type of beautiful, right? So any countries you go to, the scenery is very different. Although it's mountains, but it's a different type of mountains. It's a different type of sea or a river, right? And I just experience that in person is definitely something that I enjoy a lot.
How do you stay motivated and inspired in the face of challenges and difficulties at work? and in your career in general?
Uh, so wherever I do, I always think of the worst case scenario, right? And the worst case scenario, and then I say, can I live with the worst case scenario? And if not, what can I do to mitigate? So put in some guardrails, right? So that has always been my philosophy, to like think of the in terms of worst case scenario. And so far that hasn't happened. I obviously I got knocked out a few times, and but those are expected, right? If you're like, for example, if you're a boxer, you'll get knocked out a few times. You won't be able to land a punch all the time, right? So, but the boxer doesn't get demotivated, right? They're like, okay, I need to come back and win the next one, right? So the mentally, I am kind of like that. Uh, so that framework or of, okay, what is the worst case scenario? How can I mitigate things? And if I get knocked down, can I get up and get back to the fight again? And what do I need to do? So far that has been very good in going forward from my personal career growth and from the company iTech's growth.
What is your career advice for the next generation professionals, especially those who are just entering to the job market?
This is a very difficult question, and with AI, I'm very concerned. Obviously, if you're tech, you will be safer, but obviously the professions as well. I think that requires like doctors and nurses, but uh, everybody again has to have the mindset of, you don't have to. For example, we all drive cars, right? We don't know how the car works, but everybody should be aware of what AI can do, and even if you can use ChatGPT and what is happening, just be aware of that. And things will change faster than when we started our career. So make sure you're aware of what is changing. And although companies will not invest in you to learn the new technology or the new ways of doing things, have a budget yourself that okay, you landed your first job, but don't rely on your company to develop you to be an expert. They will do that. Many companies will do that, but pursue your uh, personal career growth with your own investment as well. I think that's what would be a good advice.
Sami, for those who like to continue this conversation, who like to learn about iTech, what is the best way that they can be in touch with you and learn about iTech consulting?
You can always reach out to me. My email is sami.afzal@itech.com. I am on LinkedIn. Just to connect and reach out to me. LinkedIn, actually, I found is the best. I spend a lot of time. As I said, the networking is the most important thing. So physical network, before physical networking, online networking is the start. And I've met so many people on LinkedIn that I connected and later met, and it's been very rewarding experience. So yeah, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm under Sami Afsal, and we can connect anytime there.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much, Sami. Thank you for being with us in your busy schedule, and thank you for your support for the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business, and thank you for sharing your
No, thank you so much.
professional wisdom and your insights with us today. Truly appreciate it.
I also really appreciate your time. You are doing a great job in bringing people together, and there's a lot of value I have derived, and I'm sure other people are deriving out of this. And I hope you mentioned season three. I
Yes.
hope you continue to season 30 or 40.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for these good wishes. And I'm hoping to have you again in the American Business Podcast. There is a lot to talk about, especially in the SAP ecosystem. And you have in depth knowledge and experience in that great ecosystem. So, looking forward to having you again in the American Business Podcast.
I look forward to it as well. Thank you
Thank you very
again,
much.
and have a great
Thank you very
weekend.
much. Have a great weekend and best of luck. Thank you.
Take care.
Well, to our audience
Bye.
and to our listeners, we had another great American Business Podcast episode with Sami Afzal from iTech Consulting. I learn a lot. I am always learning something new from each American Business Podcast episode. I hope you also learned something as well. It was a really in-depth conversation about AI as well as ERP accounting software systems. Also, we even talk about the development of internet, dot-com boom, and other subjects. Right? It was actually a very rich conversation. We truly appreciate Sami's insights and professional wisdom that he shared with us in the American Business Podcast. Truly appreciate it. I hope you like it very much. If you like to learn about what is coming in the American Business Podcast, you can visit the website americanpodcast.tv. We update the website periodically, pretty much weekly, I must say. You can see the updates, coming episodes, also our other activities, such as we have American Business Podcast membership program that you can learn about. We have Connection America business networking event coming up September 19 that we have the registration link in the on the website as well that you can see. So I like to invite you to our website. If you like to be a guest in the American Business Podcast and join these interview type conversations, you can also send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. We welcome advertisers, sponsors, companies, organizations who like to be part of the growing American Business Podcast business ecosystem, business community. You can also send us an email for advertising and sponsorship inquiries, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. We are happy to hear from you. We get emails from you. You share your feedback. Some of you put your comments in the YouTube channel. Some of you send us a direct email. We are very happy to hear from you. We are also learning from you. Your feedback is very important. At the end of the day, the American Business Podcast is your podcast, and your views, your feedback, they are really important for us. So please continue communicating with us by email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com, as well as you can share your thoughts on YouTube as well. Speaking of YouTube, as you know, a couple of weeks ago, we got YouTube Silver Award. We have more than 120,000 subscribers on YouTube, business-minded, business-oriented, business concentration is a must for our subscribers, and that's a growing ecosystem. If you haven't done so, please scan this QR code right here on top of the screen. It'll take you to our YouTube page, and you can subscribe, you can share, you can like if that's okay. And if you are feeling generous, please share your thoughts, your comments in the chat box as well. We have many popular subjects, AI, as well as tariffs, international trade. Also, we talk about career and career development in each the American Business Podcast episodes. Please tell us what you think in the chat box. We'll really appreciate it. Speaking of the American Business Podcast membership program, we started to get registrations for the membership program. We truly appreciate your support. And the way that we designed the American Business Podcast membership program is to offer you benefits. Not only we appreciate your support, of course, financially, but at the same time, we also offer you benefits for the membership. And when you scan this QR code, let's bring it to our screen, and you can actually see it in more detail. Yeah, there it is. When you scan this QR code, it'll take you to our membership page. You can see different membership types. We have supporter membership, we have executive, we have business membership types. Whichever is going to be working for you, you can pick the one, and you can sign up and not only you support the American Business Podcast, which we will truly appreciate it. At the same time, you'll also get some benefits as a thank you from us. Please visit the membership page. You can scan the QR code, and you can see the details of our membership program, and you can learn more about it. And we'll really appreciate it. Great. What else is happening? September 19 at 10 a.m. we have CABA networking event, the Connection America Business Alliance. We call it CABA in short. And this is an online exclusive business networking event. You are invited. If you like to introduce yourself, your business, your products and services, you can join us on September 19 at 10 a.m. You can scan this QR code on the screen, or you can just visit our website, americanpodcast.tv, and you'll see the registration link right there. And this is an exclusive event. We only have 7 businesses. That is our limit. So this is limited seating. You can join the event. You can introduce yourself, your product and services. You can meet with other business professionals. It's going to be live on the American Business Podcast, meaning you'll be in front of business-minded thousands of the American Business Podcast followers, subscribers, and supporters. That's a unique business networking event. Because it is online, you can connect from anywhere. You can connect from US, Canada, Asia, Europe, you name it. If you are interested in making connections, meaningful business connections, the Connection America Business Alliance online networking event is a great opportunity. The next one is for September 19. I have the QR code on the screen, and I hope you'll join us. If you like to learn Excel and other Microsoft Business software systems in a fun and enjoyable way, you can consider Ms. Excel. Ms. Excel is a company. They teach you Excel and other Microsoft software systems in a fun way. And I have their QR code on the screen. And when you go to their website, you can see the catalog. You can pick the course that you like. And before you check out, you can use the discount code ABP 2025 coming from us, the American Business Podcast. And you can enjoy the discount as well. If you are in the market for a CRM system for email marketing, SMS text messaging, sales pipeline management, as well as social media marketing management, consider Marvelous CRM. I have the QR code on the screen. That's an AI-powered CRM and marketing and sales software system. It's a modern, easy-to-use software system that's designed for small and mid-sized companies. When you scan the QR code, it'll take you to their website, and you can learn about the software and you can subscribe. If you're in the market for an VPN software system, IPVanish is a great choice. I use IPVanish VPN myself. It's a solid VPN software system. And you can consider IPVanish if you're in the market for a VPN software system. And iTech, if you're in the market for an ERP accounting software system, please consider iTech Consulting Company. They are specialized in SAP ERP, Oracle NetSuite ERP, and Microsoft Business Central ERP software systems. They have their own teams. They deliver implementation, configuration, and support services. It's a great company that you can trust. And I have their QR code on the screen. For the iTech Consulting. Once you scan this QR code, it'll take you to their website. You can learn about the company and their offerings. And if you get in touch with them, make sure you heard about them from the American Business Podcast. That's it for today. Thank you very much for being with us. I'm looking forward to having you in the next The American Business Podcast episode. The American Business Podcast is the voice of American business. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for listening.